again and welcome back to Crochet Along with Miss Carol. I hope you enjoyed a couple of months of a break and were able to catch up with some of your crochet projects. Please take pictures of them or bring them by the library to show me. I'd love to see what you're doing. You can always send me an email at cleeson@mybpl.org with pictures of your projects. I would love to see what you're doing. So today we are going to work on an ear warmer. And I have my pattern. This can be downloaded if you go to our website. Go to the programs menu, scroll all the way down to the bottom where it says Youth Handouts. Click there. There'll be a folder with Crochet Along with Miss Carol, and you'll find all the patterns for all our videos there on that for you to print out at home or download to your own device so that you can use your patterns there. So we're going to do an ear warmer. We're going to work on a couple of new skills today. I'm using a regular acrylic yarn like we have. It's a weight 4. And I'm using my 5.0 crochet hook, the H that we've been using for a lot of our projects. And I'm going to start by chaining 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a new stitch. This is called an alternate double crochet. And up until now, when we have gone to make a new row, we have used a turning chain. We've crocheted 3, or we've skipped our first 3 chains on our foundation chain to give us that height that we need, and we've counted that as the first double crochet. But it leaves kind of a hole in your project when you do that. It makes the edges look a little uneven, and this is a way of getting around that. So we are going to work into the first chain from the hook. This is something that we rarely ever do, but for this stitch, that's what we want to do, is work into this first chain right here. And I'm going to do a single crochet. So go into that first chain. I'm going to pull up my loop, yarn over, and pull through. So I have a single crochet. Now, there are your 2 legs of your single crochet. Oops, I got it below the camera there. 2 legs on your single crochet. You can see them right here. 1, 2. I'm going to go right between those 2 legs. There's 2 on the front and 2 on the back. I'm going to go between them, yarn over and pull up a loop and do another single crochet. So basically I've stacked 1 single crochet on top of another, and I've made a double crochet. I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to double crochet through the other 14 stitches on this, all the way across. just a few more. So I'll have that alternative double crochet plus 14 regular crochet stitches for a total of 15 stitches. Now, this is a good width for an ear warmer that covers my ears. But if you're making your ear warmer for somebody who has bigger ears or smaller ears, you can always add or subtract stitches to your width to make it the right size for who you're working with. So now we're at the end. I'm going to turn my work. I am not going to chain any chains. I'm going to leave it just the way it is, no chaining. Turn my work, and then I'm going to do a single crochet into that first stitch, and then again I'm going to single crochet going through the two legs of that single crochet I just did, and single crochet again. So I stack those two, and then I'm going to double crochet across. And that's what I'm going to do for the whole length of my ear warmer. Now, in the pattern that I've given you, I have said that you can do that for 53 rows. But again, everybody's head is a little different size. So you can add or subtract rows as you need, depending on the size of the head that you're making the ear warmer for. You go ahead and work on that. I'm going to work on mine. And then when we're done, we'll come back here together and I'll show you how to join the ends so that you get the fancy kind of twist knot on your head warmer that makes it look so fancy. Have a good time crocheting, and I'll see you back here when we're ready to move on. Well, here we are back again, and I have created a long rectangle of double crochets. You can see my edges are nice and even with no holes in them because of those alternative double crochets that I started each row with. So that makes a nice edge for our ear warmers. You'll see here that I changed colors halfway on mine, and that's because the join, where we joined the two ends of our ear warmers together, is kind of complicated, and I thought it would be easier for you to see what I was doing if each edge of my ear warmer was a different color. If you went ahead and made yours all in one color, which I suspect you did, and how the pattern was written, that's fine. I just did this for demonstration purposes, is the only reason that I changed colors. And our project next month is going to be a striped tote bag, and we will learn about changing colors and joining different colors of yarn in that lesson. So if you're interested in doing that, we'll get to that in the month of March. So where we are now, I finished my last row, and I'm going to finish off just pulling through there with that slip stitch. And I'm going to give myself quite a long tail because I'm going to use this to sew my ends together. So here we go. So I'm going to lay out my rectangle. Those I'll weave those ends in later, and the ends on that end. I'm going to fold it this way and fold it this way so it brings my edges together. And then I'm going to make like a little tent, sort of. It's a V, it's an upside down V. And the open end, like a little mouth, the open side of my V is pointing towards the other edge of my ear warmer. And I'm going to do the same thing with this side. Make a V, make an upside down V, so that they point, the two open mouths point to each other. Now I'm going to fold these together. I'm going to put the end of the edge of that into the fold in the gold side, and the edge of this side into the fold of that side. Bring that out so that I can weave it in later, and fold that around. So as you can see, those two layers are folded together so that I have an edge here. Come down this way, there's a fold. The edge of the other side is right here. And this side comes in here and tucks into the fold here. And this side comes around so that my two edges, my two ends, or the two corners, are there, but they have the other side in between them. And then I'm going to sew using this tail through all 4 layers. So you get that worked out. I'm going to take a picture of it. I'm going to go away for just a second and get some still pictures so that I can make sure I have that on the pattern for you to see. And then we'll come back and we'll sew this together. Okay, so they're ready to sew. I'm going to use my yarn needle. And I'm going to start here. I want to make sure these are even here. Looks like I have that not quite half. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go through this stitch, through the first stitch on the one tucked into the corner, through that corner stitch, and then come all the way over and do the last stitch on the outside corner. And pull that through. And then I'm going to just loop around and do that again. Just to make sure that it's well anchored there. Oh, come on. Doesn't want to work for me here. Okay. There we go. All right. So then I'm going to move on to the next stitch. There. The blue, the outside, the inside one, the outside one, and the inside one. Just like that. All 4. And I'm going to come back over to that same side and do the outside layer, that first inner layer, the second inner layer, and the last outside layer. Just like that. Now, this is a little tricky and a little complicated. If you're having trouble with it, send me an email and we can see about setting up a time that I can do something one-on-one with you. Zoom meeting or something, we'll get it figured out. Help you get it figured out. But I'm hoping that by using the 2 different colors on my sample, that'll help you see where your folds need to intersect and how they work together. So that inside edge. Come on. There we go. Add the last one there. There, all sewn together. I'm going to go through again to tie it off well. Go through my loops so that I have a tie in there. All right. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to just weave it in like we do when we finish a project. I want it woven in really well because when it waves, you're going to need to wash ear warmers and we don't want it to come undone in the washing machine. I like to use yarn that I can just throw in the washing machine and throw in the dryer, and that way it stays nice and clean and easy to care for. Okay, whoops, there we go. All right, so that one's woven in. I'm going to cut it close. I did my magic 3, up 1, back 1, up 1. I'm going to do that with the other end. Go through here. And back. I often let you guys do this on your own, but I want to have these woven in before we turn it, and I show you what that twisted join looks like when you're done. So there we go. All right, and because I have different colors on mine, I still have these to weave in later, and I won't do that while we're on camera here right now. I'll take care of that later. So we're going to turn it inside out, or right side out, just like this. And there you go. A nice twisted, looks almost like a little bow up there, so that it makes a nice ear warmer, and that should keep your ears warm for the rest of this winter.